Zoe Januszewski, our latest feature 4 of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and we're here with Zoe, who is here at WPI all the way from the West Coast in California. And Zoe, explain to us what you did this summer.
So this past summer, I was a continuous improvement intern at Ensign Bickford Industries, or EBI, in Moorpark, California.
That's quite the title. Can you tell us how you were able to get that internship?
So I did some networking at our career fair during the fall. They had a couple information sessions and networking nights at local restaurants. And so I was able to have multiple conversations with HR reps, and that led to me going to Moorpark for my internship.
And this is right around where you're from, correct?
Yes, I'm from Ventura, California, which is real close by.
Cool. We'll get into that in just a second. If you could tell us about your internship experience.
So my internship was all about processes and people, and it was focused around a topic called lean manufacturing. So I would get to work with operators to standardize a process. So I would look at different product lines and figure out how to make it most efficient to save money and time.
And what did you learn most from this internship? Did everything go as planned, or did you have to adjust? Did you learn new ways?
There was a lot of adjustment due to COVID. Part of my internship was a Kaizen event, which is basically a problem-solving event with multiple different types of people. So this had to be adjusted because of the masks and social distancing, but we were still able to execute our project, and I think it was very successful.
Great. Would you recommend this internship to somebody else?
Absolutely. I loved it so much. I learned a ton.
Now, being in California, did you, growing up in California, did you think you'd be doing an internship for an East Coast school out on the West Coast?
I'm so lucky to be able to do an internship that was close to home. I really appreciated being able to be closer to my hockey family in Southern California and have that opportunity out west.
And let's talk about your hockey family a little bit. It's a very East Coast, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic AO type of sport. Talk us about the field hockey vibe out on the West Coast.
Yeah, so I grew up playing in Moorpark, California, which is kind of one of the few hot spots for field hockey in California. And my dad actually used to play when he grew up, and I know a lot of the older Olympic players, people on the men's field hockey team. So something that's different about where I grew up is that I grew up playing with a lot of men on AstroTurf. So my style of play is a little bit different from what I'm seeing here on the East Coast.
Zoe, you would have been a throwback. You could have played here in the 80s and the 90s on those great field hockey teams. We have a lot of Hall of Famers, had some wonderful, wonderful teams on the AstroTurf. Now you ask most of the East Coast players what AstroTurf is, and they're not going to know what it is.
Yeah.
It's a much quicker game, correct?
It is.
And were you able to play much this summer?
Yeah, I had to, most of it was on grass, which isn't my favorite, but it was really fun to be able to pass with my family, especially my dad, because I grew up with him coaching me and teaching me how to hit and stuff like that.
And I understand he's a goalie?
Yes, he's a goalie. I have defense in my blood.
But when you do play offense and you do score against them, that must be a great feeling.
Absolutely.
And let's go back. One thing you were not able to do because there weren't games this summer, but you also umpire. If you could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I really enjoy umpiring because it's all about respect and respecting the game with its safety. So it kind of gives me a unique perspective when we're playing games out here on the East Coast. I really enjoy the people side of field hockey and all of the emotions that go along with the game. So I umpired, up until my time in college, I would umpire games at my local field every weekend.
Great. And if you could also talk a little bit about this semester, this year, a little bit different circumstance. You're a junior. You're going to look to do your IQP, D-term. Just talk about the adjustments that you've made here in the learning process.
Yeah, so most of my classes are online. I only have one in-person class, but I've really been enjoying the flexibility, especially with Zoom. It really makes it easy to meet with people. I'm making the best of the situation, and quite honestly, it's been a lot better than I expected. And I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, but I'm actually TAing a lab for a class that is typically a simulation where you build...
As a junior, you're TAing. That's outstanding. Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's an industrial engineering lab where they build clocks, but unfortunately due to COVID, we couldn't do that this year. So we decided to adjust the lab to be a Kaizen event, which is similar to what I mentioned from this summer of my internship. So I'm restructuring the lab so that students can look at the WPI COVID testing process, and we're going to hopefully improve it so that there's less waiting time and the scheduling process is a little bit more streamlined.
Perfect. Now, if we could only do stuff to keep the mask on the face easy, we would have a great semester.
Yeah.
Zoe, thank you, and we now know what you did last summer. Thank you.